everybody, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you all have a great week. And today's topic, we're going to be discussing how to run a marathon in under 4 hours, 30 minutes. And I know there are a lot of athletes around the world. You may be one of them that's trying to run under this specific time barrier. And to do it, you have to get efficient and practice running under 10 minutes and 17 seconds per mile, or 6 minutes and 23 seconds per kilometer. That is the goal race pace that you need in order to run a marathon in under 4 hours and 30 minutes. And as you all know from other videos, there are so many different things you have to do correctly in order to master the marathon distance. And it takes time, it takes patience, it takes a great deal of motivation. And I understand the complexities of this particular event. It's not like the 5K or the mile where it's over quick. You know, you have to train for several weeks and several months in order to really perfect this particular distance and get it right. I started running marathons in 2002, never really envisioned myself competing in the marathon event. I was more focused on the mile and the 5K distances. And then lo and behold, 2002, I was a part of a U.S. Army military charity event at the 2002 New York City Marathon, where we basically started in last place and we weren't permitted to start the race until every runner had crossed the start line. So long story short, ended up finishing as the team's top finisher, ran 2 hours, 43 minutes and 36 seconds, going from 32,189th place up to 257th place overall. And New York City, as you all know, if you've ever run it, it's not a fast course, but it's an exciting event. One of the top marathon races in the world, and one definitely that you can run under 4 hours and 30 minutes on if you get it right. There's a lot of hills on that course, a lot of bridges you have to run through, obviously the 5 boroughs as well. But if you're going to run under 4 hours and 30 minutes, definitely pick a marathon that is fast. I should say a course that is flat, because not to say that there are a lot of flat courses, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to be a fast marathon time that you're going to run. Because I've run on several marathon courses like Columbus, Rotterdam, Chicago, and didn't run my fastest times on those flat courses. I ended up running my fastest time of 2 hours and 19 minutes and 35 seconds on a course that was a net downhill course, but there were a lot of rolling hills on it as well. Would have never envisioned breaking 2 hours and 20 minutes on the California International Marathon course ever. I would have picked Chicago or Monumental Indianapolis Marathon, which is in November. Definitely check that one out as well. The competition's always very high there. You'll definitely have other athletes in the race to run with. It's a super flat course, but there are a few small hills on it as well. But the temperatures are always nice. It's usually the first week of November in Indianapolis. So definitely check that one out. If you're trying to go under 4 hours and 30 minutes, definitely pick a course that's going to accommodate your goals of going for that. So as we have discussed in other videos, I really think the importance, it's really important to spend more time in your long runs at a higher clip, at a faster pace. You don't want to just spend every weekend running very easy. You will build a great deal of endurance doing those long, slow, easy long runs, but you do want to start mixing up and varying up the paces of your long runs in your training. And I do have a marathon course as well as a marathon training program on RunDreamAchieve.com for athletes that are trying to break 4 hours and 30 minutes for the marathon. So definitely check that out. I'll leave some resources below this video as well. So the key thing to keep in mind, like I said, you need to hold 10 minutes and 17 seconds per mile for 26.2 miles, or 6 minutes and 23 seconds per kilometer for 42.2 kilometers. So getting that particular pace to feel more moderate rather than fast and hard is very key. So you do want to train at paces that are not only at that pace, but also at paces that are near it. So you're running closer to around like 10:30 mile pace or around 6:35 kilometer pace. Running at those particular types of efforts, as well as training at paces that are far, far faster than you're going to be planning to run for the marathon distance. So examples of that would be like doing repeat miles in the early stages of your training at around 8 minutes and 45 seconds per repetition on the track. Now, my training programs, really, we focus on between 5 and 6 1-mile repetitions on the track. And we start off at a moderately hard or very hard effort at first, usually moderately hard, just to get the athlete focused in on training at that anaerobic effort. And then as the athlete gets fitter, the pace increases and the time of rest in between each one of those repetitions drops. And that's what you want to do. So we want to focus more on running around 8 minutes and 45 seconds to 8 minutes and 50 seconds per mile repetition, with anywhere from a 3 to 4 minute rest in between each rep. And then as you've become very efficient and very anaerobically fit, then we start focusing on dropping the intensity. So obviously you're running much faster, your heart doesn't have to work quite as hard, but we're focusing more on doing those mile repeats at around 8 minutes and 25 seconds to 8 minutes and 30 seconds per rep, with a 2-minute rest in between each one. So another big thing, another specific type of workout that I was doing over the years to eventually run under 2 hours and 20 minutes for the marathon was repeat 2 miles on the track. So in your case, getting that, like I said, training at paces that are far below goal marathon race pace is the key. You got to do a lot of that. You got to train at VO2 max effort, where we're focusing more on doing like 400s at like 1 minute and 58 seconds to 2 minutes flat per rep, and doing anywhere from like 10 to 16 repetitions of 400s on the track, with like 2 minutes rest early on in your training. And then as you become very, very fit, we drop in it. We start focusing on doing very minimal rest, preferably around 6 to 90 seconds per repetition. So that's again the idea of periodization that we talk about in other videos. You want to focus on gradually building up into your fitness. You can't just jump into any type of marathon preparation just trying to run super fast, super early. It's a great way to get fatigued, to start second guessing and doubting yourself because you're trying to move too fast too early. So that is what, you know, what we focus on in the training programs and in the running courses on RunDreamAchieve.com is we also focus on every 3 weeks, we focus on a recovery week. So we drop the volume, we lessen the intensity, still stays around the same, but the repetitions aren't as high during those recovery weeks, because you want to stress the body anaerobically, but you have to also slow down and allow recovery to take place. And there's a term called supercompensation that a lot of athletes don't know quite as much about. I want you guys to look up, and gals, just Google supercompensation. It's basically when prior to or after a workout, your body is extremely weak, usually about 2 to 3 times as weak after a hard anaerobic effort. But usually around anywhere from 24 to 48 hours after that hard workout, your body bounces back to like twice as strong as you were prior to doing that workout. But to get that anaerobic capability and then that physiological boost, you have to allow time to recover from those hard efforts. So the recovery period is absolutely essential. If you want to go under an hour or 4 hours and 30 minutes for the marathon, you have to do the things correctly, and you have to study what are marathoners doing that have run faster than you, that have run the types of times that you want to run, are doing. What do they think? And you need to duplicate their work habits. You don't necessarily, like, you know, I've broken 2:20 for the marathon, so I understand how fast really 4 hours, 29 minutes and 59 seconds is. You have to be in great shape to be able to sustain 10 minutes and 17 seconds per mile, or 6 minutes and 23 seconds per kilometer for that entire distance. It does you no good to be able to say, you know, after one of your races that, hey, I was on 4:20 marathon pace through 32K, but, you know, and it's that but. What did you finish in is the name of the game. You know, what was your finish time? And the fact that you can go 32 kilometers at your goal pace really tells me a lot. It already tells me that you definitely have the capability to do it. It's just that you have a few leaks in your training that you need to adjust. It could be you're not drinking enough in the race. That's a big mistake I made over the years too. I would sip in the race and I would not drink. If you look at any world-class marathoner or middle distance runner in these road races, they are drinking. They're not just grabbing a half of a Dixie cup and drinking half the contents of that cup. they will sit there and they'll grab their water bottle and they'll sit there and run with it for about 400 meters of the race before they drop it down. Now, granted, I understand that a lot of athletes don't have the luxury of having their own water bottle and having their own, a table that they can run by and grab it. So that doesn't mean that you can't be set up for success yourself. You just need to grab those cups at the aid stations and making sure that you're drinking the contents of those cups and not just sipping. It's a big reason why a lot of athletes, they're on pace, but they fall apart because they're just simply not hydrated well enough. It could be improper pacing that you've done in the past. So if you want to run 4 hours and 29 minutes and 59 seconds, you need to be smart about your pacing. You don't need to run that first 20 miles of the race at 9 minutes and 20 seconds per mile, or like say around 5:45 per K pace. That's far too fast to be able to sustain that last 10 kilometers of the race. So you got to be smart. You want a negative split. You want to run that second half faster than you run the first half. Now, granted, you can go out much slower or much faster in the first half and even run faster in the second half. But you have to be smart and you have to be really mentally tough to be able to do that. When I ran my best marathon, I went out in 3 seconds slower than my personal best for the half. I hit the first half. My personal best for the half is 107.06. I hit the first half of my 2:19.35 in 107.09, and then came back with a 1:12.26 for the second half. So obviously drastically slower in the second half, but because I went out so fast, I had that buffer and that room to eventually go under my goal time back then, which was under 2 hours and 22 minutes. So you have to do the same thing. It's the same process. It's the same fundamentals. It's just our times are a little bit different. That's all. So I hope this video has given you an idea of some of the things you want to be thinking about to run under 4 hours and 30 minutes. If you're running easy, your pace should be anywhere from around 10 minutes and 55 seconds to around 11 minutes and 30 seconds per mile pace. So give or take around 640 per K to 650 per K pace for those easy runs. Making sure that and really, if it's an easy day, just jog. Don't focus so much on pace per K or pace per mile. It should be an easy recovery day for a reason, because your track workouts and your road sessions are going to be so difficult and so challenging mentally and physically that you had best start taking those easy days as seriously as you take your hard days. Now, I don't say seriously as like, I've got to run, super slow. Just relax on those easy days. Take it easy. Allow that time for your body to recover so that you maximize all of your hard work that you've done on the track and on the roads. All of my training programs and the running courses are 16 weeks in length. 4 months is sufficient time to run under 4 hours and 30 minutes. You don't want to rush the process. We focus on 4-week segments, whereas in like I said before, every 3 weeks we focus on a recovery week. So you're ensuring that you're getting enough recovery in between those hard 3 weeks of training. That way you can focus on the next 3 weeks and really ramp up your training as well on the anaerobic side of the house. Again, it's a combination to run under 4 hours and 30 minutes, a combination of training at goal race pace, far below goal race pace, where like say in doing repeat 200s, 300s, 400s that are at speeds that are more so closer to your like 3K and 5K race pace, 10K race pace. Training at those types of efforts where you're only going to spend a few seconds or a few minutes at those efforts, and obviously you're not going to be able to race a marathon at that effort, but because you're running so far below goal race pace, it's going to make 10:17 mile pace feel easy, or 6:23 per K pace moderately. It's going to feel more moderate. It's going to feel more controlled, and this takes time. You have to have patience. There's no question about it. The best marathoners I've trained with over the years know that if you're going after a specific time, like a 4 hour and 30 minute marathon or under that time, you have to be smart. You have to have a belief in delayed gratification and know that the best middle to long distance runners get great results because they were just consistent over a long period of time and were tenacious about what they were doing. So I hope this video is helpful for you. If you are an athlete that's trying to go under 4 hours and 30 minutes, even if you're an athlete trying to break 5 hours, break 3 hours, break 2 hours and 40 minutes, wherever your goal is at, these fundamentals are key if you want to become great at the marathon distance. There's no question about it. It takes time to master this event. It's much more complicated, and not to take anything away from running like the mile, 5K, or 10K, but the longer the race, the more that's involved. And especially the marathon, it's a sugar race. If you run out of sugars, you run out of glycogen, it doesn't matter how much motivation you have, your muscles need that. They definitely need the carbohydrates to be able to optimally function correctly. You also want to focus on making sure you're not, you have proper amounts of iron. It's very easy to become anemic, and if you run low on iron, your cells are not going to be able to carry oxygen throughout the body as effectively as they could if your ferritin levels and your iron levels and potassium levels were as high as they should be. So definitely focus on your nutrition as well. I have nutritiongeeks.com. You can definitely check that website out as well. There's a lot of resources there as well as below this video to help you. So hope you all have a great week of training. If you have any other questions or concerns, leave me a comment below the video. And if you're brand new to the channel, hit that bell icon and the subscribe button so when I make a new video, you'll be notified of it. And I wish you all the best, and definitely keep me posted on your progress. I definitely want to hear about all of your new personal best, and if you've run under 4 hours and 30 minutes already, let me know in the comment section. If you haven't broken 4 hours and 30 minutes, what has been the biggest problem that has caused you to not break this barrier yet? And I say yet because you will break it. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of when or if. It's a matter of when. So continued success to you all. I'll talk to you all in the next video, and stay focused. Take care.